All right, and here we are. We're back. We're live with another panel discussion with the Centers for Black Excellence. And we are so excited, so happy to have you here with us, participating in another important and necessary conversation that we're having at this moment in time. We believe that this is a key and pivotal moment in our history. This is an opportunity for us to take full advantage of the momentum that we have right now. We have a lot of attention focused on what others are saying about us, how they're treating us, what they've been doing to us. But we at the Centers for Black Excellence also believe that this is a key time for us to talk about some of the things that we are doing in and of ourselves as a community. So we have these panel discussions basically every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And tonight will be another awesome discussion with some other great, amazing guest panelists. I'm so excited to have these panelists with us. These conversations are a million times better always because of the panelists that we have with us. So with that being said, I want to get right into introducing our panelists. I want to start off and I want to read, I'll tell you, these bios that I get from our panelists, I'm like, my goodness, I need to get my game up. They are just amazing. And I want to start off with a young lady who has been with us before, shared with us her vast knowledge and experience and expertise. So I'm so excited that she's back with us again to share even more. Dr. Lisa Sistrunk, MD, is a human development professional and the CEO of DH Elevation Consulting, an Atlanta, Georgia-based firm. Her over 30 years of successful and valuable expertise in interpersonal development and leadership help her to infuse research-proven and outcome-based information with practicality in every coaching and facilitation session. In addition to her proficiency as an adult educator and certified master trainer and trainer of trainers with local and national organizations, she is an accomplished source of technical assistance and program development. Dr. Sistrunk obtained her doctoral degree in organizational leadership and development and has her master's in adult education. Now, a few of the organizations, and this is where it gets deep. I love it. A few of the organizations Dr. Sistrunk has worked with include Young Adult Guidance Center, the Fathers and Families Coalition of America, U.S. Department of Veterans Administrations, Clark Atlanta, Temple, and Cornell universities, local and national early Head Start and Head Start entities, Save the Children, and this Association de Maestros de Puerto Rico. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the first of our amazing panelists tonight, none other than Dr. Lisa Sistrunk.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Tian and Alina. I am so excited to be with you all again. I'm so excited to be a part of this panel and just discuss these very amazing topics that need to be discussed, need to be brought out and open, need to be put out on the World Wide Web so everybody can just know about the wonder that is us, right? As we continue to grow and expand and just do great things and do it more in the public sector, in the public eye, because we've been doing this, but it just hasn't been quite in the, it hasn't been put to the forefront. And so, as Tian said, my name is Dr. Lisa, and I am excited to be here. What I was thinking about, leading up to this talk, Black excellence and Black youth. One of the first thing that came to me was our youth are amazing. They are powerful, they are strong, they are bright, they are resilient, they are brilliant, they are risk-taking. They are just all of that. And because of all of that, they can be a handful, right? And so they can be a handful. But we have not always had, some of us still don't necessarily have all the right resources and tools and opportunities to help them mold and shape themselves. So if you put all of this greatness in the wrong hands, they will be dropped. They can be dropped. They can slip through fingers like water in your hand, right? And sometimes those hands often are hands of parents, are hands of the community, because we don't have all that we need, the quality resources that we need to highlight this, right? And so we have to be able to like close these gaps, so that we can help them by uplifting them. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody is going to excel, but even in all of the falling through the cracks, many of our youth have excelled. They have survived. They have succeeded. And so those are great things, but some is not enough. We need more. We need more. So we need bigger hands, but these are all the hands only size hands God gave me, right?
Right.
So I need to be able to make sure I close these gaps so I can open my fingers up, and when they're in my hands, I can help them help me shape them and mold them. So we can harness all of that greatness, and just help them excel and be what they can be.
Wow, absolutely. Once again, thank you so much. Very excited to have you as a part of this panel discussion. And speaking of excellence and our youth, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited to have this young lady on the panel with us tonight. Let me take a moment to read a little bit about her so you can be as amazed by her as I am. I'm talking about none other than Miss Alina DeZoysa, 17 years old, and in the STEM Academy at Jackson Memorial High School. At 17, she is the president of Rays of Hope. And through Rays of Hope, she has accomplished many things, including starting a petition with over 2,500 signatures in order to stop lunch shaming in the state of New Jersey. She's spoken at 10 protests in order to highlight the racial inequalities that minorities in our country continually face. She holds leadership positions in other organizations such as Yes She Can campaign, where she serves as the Director of Education Advocacy and Resource. She's also been very active in Girl Scouts, currently the host of the G-Team TV series, part of the recruitment team, Ocean County analysis team, and the CEO advisory board. Additionally, she is also very involved on her school campus as well, serving as the founder and president of the school's Lead for Diversity and the Girls Who Code Club at her high school. She is also a member of the Mathematics Honor Society, Art Honor Society, National Social Studies Honor Society, and serves as the president of both the National Honor Society and the Science National Honor Society. Come on, somebody, and welcome all of this Black excellence to one of our amazing panelists, Alina DeZoysa.
Hi everyone, my name is Alina and I am really excited to be here today on behalf of Rays of Hope, an organization I joined when I was in the 6th grade. And I just kind of want to introduce a little bit about how I learned about Rays of Hope and how I was at the beginning of joining that organization. So I go to a predominantly white high school, and I have been in a predominantly white institution for all 12 years of my education. And I never really had a voice. I was very shy and timid, and I really didn't want to speak out, which may seem different to what I'm doing now, because I'm trying to speak out as much as possible and push myself outside of my comfort zone. But I really found myself not having confidence in myself and not seeing that I have a voice, especially in my school system. So I sought out different organizations outside of school and with help from my parents, and I found Rays of Hope, which is an outstanding organization that I've been part of, like I mentioned, since the 6th grade. I've had a leadership role since I was in the freshman year of high school, and I really learned how to become a leader, not only by hearing other stories from other people, but forcing myself to be in what I thought was uncomfortable situations of speaking in front of people, leading leadership development workshops that we hosted, and really seeing that I could accomplish something that I really didn't see myself doing beforehand. And I think a lot of times Black youth experience that as well. And what they call imposter syndrome is that we feel like, we won't fit in there, or we don't have the right to say something in a place that's really white, and our voices might be drowned out. And I've experienced that time and time again, and I still feel that to this day when I'm speaking in a space that's predominantly white, and I feel that maybe my voice isn't as important as other people's. But it's a real constant battle that no matter how much experience you have, you'll always experience that because of the conditioning that has been put into place as growing up as Black children. And so that's what I'm really, I'm prominent, and I'm a living story of how you can learn to combat that. Even though you know that it's there, you can learn to work with that and still use your voice for good and share the stories that people might not understand or experience themselves. So we're having our voice put into a place where people don't really understand what we're going through, and that's really important, because without our voices nothing can really be changed. So I really am blessed to be here, and I'm really excited to be talking on behalf of the youth, and I'm excited for today's discussion.
Wow, absolutely incredible. I told you, I'm even more excited now about tonight's discussion than before. And I'm a big believer in encouragement. So, Alina, I want you to look at the screen because you got all kinds of love coming your way right now, young lady. All of this Black excellence gracing the screen. Just really, really excited about what you're doing and how you're making things happen. So this is absolutely amazing. We celebrate you, and we're just now getting started. Listen, we have even more excellence that we want to share with you in the form of our third amazing panelist that's here to join us tonight. I want to share a little bit with you about her amazing bio. She is already doing so much that I was like, it will take me the entirety of our panel discussion to read to you all that she does. It's amazing. So I want to take just a snippet out of there from our amazing panelist, none other than Ms. Kendra Garrett, who says in her bio to be a voice for those who are not heard. This is a passion of Kendra Garrett, a brand, public relations, marketing maven, and now her most honored position, founder and CEO of Colorful Dreams, nonprofit organization. Kendra has had many successes in her life, whether it was assisting several businesses and creating their clientele and sales, or creating strategic techniques for her clients to continuously promote success and consistency in their brands. Kendra's passion has always been to help those who have no voice find theirs and be heard. Kind of reminds me a little bit of what Alina was saying about how she felt like she couldn't speak in those spaces, and now she's learned how to do so. Colorful Dreams was created to empower at-risk youth, 8 to 16 years of age, and help them discover the power of knowledge and self-reliance. Currently operating in the greater New Orleans area, Kendra's mission is to make resources and support available for youth and adolescents in the communities and schools of Louisiana. There is so much more that we can say about this amazing young lady, but I'll let her come on and talk a little bit more about it for herself. Please join me in welcoming our third amazing panelist, Ms. Kendra Garrett.
Thank you, and thank you guys for having me. It's kind of you got me? You can hear me? Okay, just making sure. So yeah, it's kind of tough to follow Alina, but it's good that I'm following Alina because she is basically Black excellence in itself. That's why I created Colorful Dreams, and that's why organizations like me exist, is to empower those like Alina. So basically, that's what we're here for. I'm just here to make sure any support I can give, obviously to the African American community, to Blacks in the community, because we lack a lot. My organization was created because we have in the greater New Orleans area, there is a high disparity, and it's all over, not just here, but there's a high disparity when it comes to certain programs that exist in white areas and white schools. They get theater, they get music, they get all these different things that we as Blacks don't get to experience. So our artistic views and everything about us and who we are gets kind of cut off at an early age, like Alina said. So basically, we're just here, and with all of us, this team, including Alina and everybody out there, like, we're here to make sure we are heard. Like I said, we want to make sure you hear us roar. Like, you want to know we exist, you're gonna know we exist, and we're not stopping until you do. So again, thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to be here tonight.
Awesome. And we are crazy excited to have you here with us tonight. Guys, as you can see, we have an amazing panel discussion set up for you. So I want to go ahead and dive right in because as a father myself, this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I definitely want to see our children operating in a spirit of excellence. So I want to kick off tonight's discussion, and I want to ask you guys a question, and I would love for each one of you from your own individual perspectives, because you all have, because of your experience, your expertise, you each bring something different to the table. So I want to ask you from your own individual experiences, and Alina, we'll go ahead and start with you. What are, from what you can see, from what you can tell, and from your experience, what are some of the obstacles that appear to prevent our kids from aspiring to excellence or presenting excellence? What kind of things are getting in the way?
I think, like I mentioned before, we feel as if we don't have a seat at the table. And especially, I think youth think that because we're younger, we don't have a place to talk about things that we are seeing, that we are experiencing, that we know that are happening, especially in educational institutions and, the society as well. And I think that a lot of times us being conditioned to believe that when we're in a place of discussion and a place of, where decisions are being made, our voices are usually subsided and quieted by the adults in our life or the adults in higher positions. And so I think knowing that you have a seat at the table and that you are part of a functioning society and that you're a vital piece of society as well. We're the next generation, but that doesn't mean that we have to wait until we're older to be able to contribute to what we're talking about and the issues that are happening. And just an example of what we've done, especially in Rays of Hope, is in the summer we met with law enforcement. We talked with them, but we as the youth were leading. We were leading the discussion. We were asking people to introduce themselves. We were asking questions that we came up together as a panel of youth that really wanted to know specific things that our police station was doing to make sure that they are working for us, working for people that look like us and are protecting us. So on top of having that discussion with them, we were able to host our own protests and have our voices be heard and have a lot of youth in our protests talk about their experiences. And so making those connections within the community and then bringing it to other places. So we brought that panel we had with the police station, we brought that to the school system as well. And so I meet with the superintendent, me and a few other youth and a lot of community leaders. We meet together to talk to our superintendent of the Jackson School District about diversity inclusion agendas and different things that they are doing to make sure that they are working for us. And so I don't know how much you want to go into depth, but
wow,
we've really
because you already have touched on so many things that I'm like, yes. And I think one of the big ones that we can dive into a little bit before we go around to each other's individual point of views, you said something huge that I think happens a lot in the Black community, and maybe even as parents and as adults, we don't understand the negative impact of what we're doing, which is something that I call age limiting. We basically tell children to stay in a child's place. And we've decided what kids can't accomplish.
Right.
And because we as adults have decided that kids can't accomplish that, we don't push our children to accomplish these amazing things, right? So we hear about 9-year-olds starting businesses and we're blown away. We're like, wow, what a unique case. But it doesn't need to be a unique case because we constantly, we have that thing. I mean, anybody else seen this where it's just like, we tend to tell our children to go stay in a child's place.
Right. Exactly. To be seen and not heard.
Right.
You don't, no, this is grown folks business. You don't know what you're talking about. You're going to get yourself in trouble. And if let's just say one of the parents or whatever the adult is, whoever the adult is that's over the child who's trying to, make their voice heard, if they have been shut down when they were young, if they had been shut down by their parents or by some kind of authority figure, if something happened to them that was traumatic, no, I got to save you. So no, you're not going to do that. And so they can't see beyond what they haven't done in order to uplift the child. And possibly it's also a thing of, no, you don't know how it works yet. Just wait here and we'll handle this. But then they don't handle it because, again, they don't think that our children, our youth are looking and seeing and really have something to say. They might say, oh, you're just trying to be too grown, too fast. And so no, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. And it's interesting because I see all of the interconnectivity because Dr. Lisa, you were just talking about being seen and not heard. And I immediately looked over at Kendra like, yeah, that's what color.
That's it, right.
Happening. So can you talk a little bit to that, Kendra? Like, do you see that in our children where they themselves haven't yet? Do you see in our children them limiting themselves because of their age, and you have to kind of push and inspire them that they can do more than what they believe despite their age?
Yeah. And you know what? It's crazy because we have nowadays, this is a new age, a new group of kids coming up. And so these kids come out with so much knowledge and so much power to give and share to the world. So it's different because even now I find it a lot, like even with the whole parenting thing and shutting them down, I see a lot of kids nowadays, they stand in their power, and it is amazing that they do that and don't let anyone deter them. And so that in turn is where we kind of come in, because it's like you're already, especially if you're already standing in your power. My job is to make sure I hold you up while you're standing in it, But yeah. But these kids nowadays, we have a world full of Alinas. You know what I mean? We have a world full of, like, already taking the world by storm. So it's very rare unless like it comes with some other household issues, but it's very rare that I see kids kind of stifle themselves. And if they do, we do our best to make sure it's a safe space so they understand, like, if you stifle yourself anywhere else, this is not the place you will. And you're gonna from here learn that you should never stifle, yourself, because your abilities are your abilities and you were blessed with them, and you shall give them to the world, and don't let anyone stop you,
Yeah. Right. One of the things, can I just jump in after that for a second? Absolutely. One of the things that I think is that just kind of strikes me right now is there are a group of kids who are they're unseen. Their conditions and the situations that they're living in and the things that they're dealing with, just in the whole family dynamics, the whole community dynamics, they're not even having an opportunity to get out to find a rays of hope or a colorful dreams. They don't even know that this exists. And so those are the ones also who have to kind of see, the Alinas and the other kids from Colorful Dreams, Colorful Dreams, see them in a position of leadership. I mean, I don't know if y'all missed it or not, but Alina says she meets with the superintendent.
Yes.
Not the principal.
Yeah. Yes.
Not the PTA head, but the superintendent. Okay. All right. So if you see somebody who looks like you and they're over here having conversations with adults, then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Let me see what that's about, or what's she talking about? And even if it's like, oh, who she thinks she is, once they go over there and they're like, what are you doing? And all of the, then she's like, oh, well, yeah, this is what I said. And then they see that what she said and the group that she's with has been able to affect change. Oh, let me go over here and see what they're talking about. Right. And so, just kind of cracking that door open and to use Alina's organization, just show that ray of hope that they can, maybe I can kind of see this over there,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. And I hear two
Oh, you can
really powerful points bouncing off of each other in the midst of this discussion. The one that I heard was household influence, right? What sometimes the things that's happening in the house are affecting what our youth believe that they can accomplish, what they believe they can be. Maybe the parents never had an opportunity to experience excellence in their own lives. Maybe they feel like excellence is something that can't be accomplished until later in life, right? And because these are the beliefs that they hold, they have limited their own children. Not because they meant to, not because they meant any harm, just because this is how their mind works. But then I also heard what you were saying, Dr. Lisa, with how your peers, like when you see somebody that's in your age range that looks like you, and they're doing these big, excellent things, it like awakens something on the inside of you, and you're like, wait, you mean somebody my age that looks like me could meet with the superintendent of a predominantly white school system? What?
Exactly.
And it awakens something inside of you. So I think that is super important. Come on, let's continue. Alina, thank you so much. I mean, you really got this conversation in gear already. Let me ask the same question to Dr. Lisa. In your experience, what you've seen, what are some of the obstacles when we think about Black excellence? We think about our youth. What are some of the obstacles that you've been encountering? Because you work with youth within certain age ranges as well. So what are some of the things that you've been noticing?
So some of the things are that, every generation wants better for the generation before, right? I want better for my daughter and she'll want better for her kids and all of that. And we have taken that to mean that we as parents, we as adults have to work harder. And so that they can have what it is the other kids have so that they can have a leg up. Therefore, we're out of the house more and we kind of leave them to their own devices.
Oh, wow.
And so leaving young people to their own devices and all of that power and all of that. And then when that power and that greatness and that brilliance and that risk taking and all of these creative things that they were when they were kids and they started doing. And when the kid hits that middle school age with the hormones and power and all of that, that's a real deadly combination there. And so, and then you get into the high school and the adults are over here. And if the young person is a good student, especially in middle school, then they're thinking, oh, they've got this. I don't really have to watch them that much. Oh, they're a good kid. Right. And not to say that they're not good kids, because good kids have bad behaviors or they make poor choices, but we can't just keep our eyes off of them. We still have to. Another thing that Alina said was I forgot exactly how you put it, but you said you wanted to find some place for you to be and fit in or kind of find your power, find your voice. And you talked to your parents. You had some place to go. You had people to advocate for you and say, well, let's look and see what we can find. And they didn't say, well, no, you can't do that or wait till you get older. You were in the 6th grade, middle school. What? Yes. Let's harness that greatness and put it around some other greatness so we can shape and mold it. And so, either parents are working and they can't do that, or again, they can't see past their own trauma, drama, whatever they had growing up, or I've never seen anybody do that, so that can't be done. And so you just sit here and let other people handle that kind of thing, So those are some of the obstacles when they don't have an advocate. Good, bad, or indifferent, for whatever reason, they just don't have an advocate. And I believe that most parents want the best for their children. I firmly believe that. I really do. And but some parents don't know how to give it. Some parents don't even know that they don't know how to give it. Some parents don't even know where I'm supposed to go to figure out how. And so, and then if you have a student in the middle school who's got good grades, then the parents just think that's going to keep on going. But again, good grades and hormones and cute boys and cute girls, that doesn't always mix. Clouds the brain, right?
No, that's right.
And so having your eyes on them or having them in programs that will support their development again, having access to those opportunities, to groups like Colorful Dreams, groups like Rays of Hope, but then also finding those groups, going to those hidden populations, hidden in plain sight, but we don't see them because, there's so many trees off that exit that you can't even see that community over there that's dwindling until they're going to gentrify it and they cut down all those trees and then they put some nice landscaping on it. And you're like, oh, there's community over there, right? But you're getting off the exit and it's all this wooded stuff. And you don't see that. We can't see that. So so those are the obstacles. It's the having more people have access, but making sure that it's more prevalent, and making sure that we are going out and looking through the trees to just let them know. Just let them know.
That's huge. And I'm listening to you and I'm like, every time one of you speak, that's why I love these panel discussions, because every time one of you speak, my mind just goes, oh, wow, look at that, Jewel. Because you talked about one of the things that you mentioned, which I think is huge. And Alina, I'm definitely going to pull you in on this one. I call it the pressure of perfection. Because you're a good student, because you do well, because you typically tend to stay out of trouble, there feels like, Alina, have you ever felt the pressure of perfection? I got to do everything right. I can't mess up. I can't do it. Everybody, it looks fun, but I can't do anything anybody else is doing. Have you had to deal with all the accolades that I read off and all the leadership positions and everything that you're doing, with your parents looking at you, your peers looking at you, community looking at you? Have you ever felt the pressure of perfection, and how do you deal with it?
Of course I have. I think most students do, and I think that was a really great thing that Dr. Lisa brought up, is like, you were good in middle school, so you must be good and continue doing that in high school. And I can tell you from personal experience, especially because I joined the STEM Academy in my high school, and I went from taking regular classes to then thrown into AT classes freshman year, and then having to, balance my extracurriculars. And in the back of my head, the entire time is like, well, colleges want to see me do this, and colleges want to see me do that. And I think for me, what was really a realization after joining high school is that although I do want to go to a good school, and although I do want to accomplish that because other people are looking to me to do that, I'm not doing it for anybody else but myself. And it's a hard thing to realize, and it's a hard thing to put yourself in, but you just have to step back and be like, is this what I'm passionate about? And am I doing it for an authentic reason for myself? And it took me a while to realize that, because I've been so conditioned by the school system, by what I see, colleges rave about from other students. It's that, they've done this and this and this and this, and they've balanced a sport with that. And, I tried joining a sport in high school to show that I can balance all this, but I found it wasn't for me. That wasn't what made me happy. And what made me happy was, putting myself in situations where before, and especially in middle school, I didn't see myself in, and speaking out. Now I truly have a passion for it. I love connecting with other leaders, and I found that it's something I love. And that is, I think, is a key element, because you can't force yourself to be a leader. You can't force yourself to be in a position that you aren't comfortable in. But you can definitely try to exercise every aspect of yourself. So, like I said, give it a try and make sure that is what you want to do. Because without really, evaluating it yourself, taking a step back and saying, am I doing it for the right reasons, you just won't find what you're meant to do. So in short, of course, I felt, a lot of students have felt that pressure, but it's up to us and support from adults in our life to remind us that we don't have to be doing everything at once, and we can take a break and we can step back and say, is this really who I am and what I want to do?
Wow. Do you see my mind all the way blown over here? Just all the way blown. And you know what? I think that's a perfect example as we get ready to move over to Kendra, because I want to hear from you on this perspective. But I think this is a perfect example. We have to normalize excellence from our youth. We have to, when we see someone like Alina, who is able to hold her own in a forum like this, right? With a founder of a CEO and a doctor right? And she's able to hold her own, and the comments are blowing up like, yes,
Right.
girl, right? And Alina is holding it down, and then we go, wow, she's so amazing. But we need to normalize this level of excellence. This should be the expected standard of all of our children, because our children really can excel and be excellent, and they don't have to be an adult in order to do that. We can push and support and drive our children to excellence. Kendra, I want to jump to you real quick on this same question, because in your organization you deal with a very specific age range of young people, especially as you described it, at-risk youth. And so I'm certain that you've seen firsthand some of the obstacles to bringing out the excellence of our youth. So what are some of the obstacles that you've seen and personally had to experience or deal with in working with our youth and trying to really bring that excellence out of them?
To be honest, I think Dr. Lisa hit it all on the head. I mean, it's community, it's family, it's history. It more often than not, it's about breaking a cycle. It's about making sure that what your parents saw is not what you have to see, or what your parents know is not what you have to know. And I think that's the biggest hurdle I see is the cycles, really and truly. Community, you could get out here, and with enough people you can combat community. With enough of the right people on your side, you can combat community. So I don't look at that as a hurdle, because get enough of us Black people in one room and we could shut it down. So I don't so I don't worry about that piece too much. It's always about, even if I instill certain habits in them and I get them in a certain mind frame while they're at Colorful Dreams, I have to wonder if that mindset is still going to be there when I get them outside of my doors. And how do we keep that mindset instilled in them when they step outside of my doors? Because my doors can only get them so far. You know what I'm saying? And our reach, we got to reach, but our reach can only go so far. And so that's the biggest hurdle, is making sure once you get them there, you could figure out a way to keep them there,
Right. That's so good. That's so good. Because you figure everyone here on this panel has individuals that we've worked with, we've helped, we've supported. But like you said, once you're out of my presence, out of my doors, out of my organization, you have something you have to go back to.
Yeah.
And does this place, this location, this whatever you're going back to, is it supporting the work that's being done here where you are? Or do I have to continue to rework you every time I see you?
Right. And that's typically what happens. And that is typically what happens. You're continuously reworking and working the same situation over and over, because a lot of the cycle is we're stuck in this one place that we refuse to move out of, like, because this is what we know as adults. You know what I'm saying? This is what we know. This is how we were raised, and the way my mom raised me is golden, and nobody can't tell me nothing different. Like my mama had the word. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what you say, it don't matter. My mama said it is what it is. So it's one of those things where we're constantly combating that, because the parents ain't gonna budge. So now we got to figure out how we gonna move and shake around the parents and the kids to get them what they need,
Wow. Imagine that. One of the biggest obstacles to really helping to pull the excellence out of our youth are the parents. And it's not because they're trying to do wrong by their kids. It's that, like you said, there is a mindset that they already have about parenting. One of the things that I've had to learn as a parent of a 17-year-old, help me, Lord. One of the things that I've had to learn is that as a parent, I still need to grow and evolve. As my child ages, I have to also grow as a parent. And that the way I parented my child at 12 should be different than the way I'm parenting that child at 17.
Can you say that again?
So listen, the way you parent a child at 12, you should not be parenting that child the same way at 17. And that's something that I had to learn, because what we do is, as parents, and Alina, I know you got the world's greatest parents because they probably watching right now, so be careful, don't you say nothing crazy. As parents, we tend to get to this place where we know about the do what I say version of parenting. We know about the control version of parenting. We know about the shut up, sit down, and leave me alone version of parenting. We never evolved to the let me hear from you. Let me help you develop your voice. Let me help you develop your own personality and identity. And let me help you find your strength and we never developed to that point, right? And get to that place where I'm trying to help you be your own individual so that you can stand, like Alina said earlier, and then like Kendra said, you can stand in your own power and we can help you stand up. Right? Because
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please. Come on.
I was gonna say, but see, we do see that, but when we see it, we think, oh, she's an anomaly. She's a one-off. That doesn't happen like that. When if we can, and one of the things that Kendra said is like, you have to work around the parent. So I'm gonna tell you this quick story. When I first my very first job was in Head Start, and I was a family service worker, and I used to say, oh, I have to help these parents. I have to, do this for the kids and do that for the kids, because their parents just don't know. And I just have to sit there and I have to do this, right? And I was going around the parents and I was doing this because I'm in meetings with parents and I'm hearing this and I'm like, oh, and I'm fresh out of college. And so I know all of this stuff, right? And I was in a conference with other people in my position from around the country, and they were from Native American tribes, reservations. They were from predominantly white communities, black community. I mean, all of these different people who were sitting there, and everybody's saying, it's the parents, it's the parents, it's the parents. And the skies parted on that day, sitting on the floor in Washington. Well, not on the floor, but in the conference room. And all of a sudden, the light just shone down on me and was like, it's y'all. It's not the parents. And I just had this big aha moment, like, oh my goodness. Who am I that I am trying to move these parents out the way? Because no matter how long I'm with this child, they're with their parents longer. So I can tell you, this child, the sky is blue. The sky is blue. The sky is blue. Like, no, mama said the sky is red. No, daddy said the sky is purple. And so I have to work in conjunction with them. And so the challenge, whatever the word is I'm looking for, but let's go with the challenge. The challenge is for those parents who continue to say, this is the way my mama did it, and her mama did it, and her mama did it, and so this is the way to do it. And just to continue to put it before them, not necessarily working around them per se, but letting them see, and then hopefully they will, okay, I need to change my parenting. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, wow, she can do this, or he can do that. And opening them up so they won't continue that cycle, and bringing them into the community so they're one of the people in the room, like Kendra was saying, that we can go on and change some things, Yeah. But it's difficult, because ultimately you want to get to that child so that you can have the best out of them. But if they have to keep going back into an environment that doesn't expect the best out of them, good, bad, or indifferent reasons, then we still have to continue to, keep pouring into them the same thing. You know what I mean?
And I will say, on the positive side of that, I do see a lot more nowadays with parenting, where a lot of parents are getting into this, I'll let my child have freedom of speech. So that's a big thing now as well. So on the positive side, that is happening. So we don't want to just, look at this, that one side. There is that positive side as well, where they're like, okay, I want you to be able to speak. Like, I'll use my brother, for example. He raises his kids, and his kids, I call them bad, but you say what you want. But and I only say that because they are very outspoken. So, and they're And when I say outspoken, they are 2 and 4. So I'm not talking about the big kids. I'm talking about a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And if I was to let y'all hear them, you would be amazed. Like, one of them has picked up a word to say, that's just ridiculous. When she doesn't think something is the way it should be. So I use that as an example of that's another amazing piece of like parenting that I do notice a lot of parents are picking up. And that in itself is another thing of, and we always use Alina, that in itself is another thing of how we build we get to a bunch of Alinas who come out of those small places or those places where they feel it's too tight and they bust out. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's amazing when I see that. Sometimes it could, you look at it and you're like, well, dang, they say whatever they want, but that's, long as they're not cussing or saying nothing bad, then I think it's amazing because they don't have a problem telling you how they feel. So you never have to worry about what's up here because they're expressing it and you show them that it's okay to do that,
That right there, that's that honing, that's that kind of shaping it. You don't get to say everything you want to say when you want to say it, but you do have a voice in some things. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That balance a lot of times is missing. It's either, and growing up, I either saw one or the other. It was very difficult for me to see that balance. It was either you were the kid that said so much, I was like, you still have teeth after what you just said? Your mama let you talk like that? It was either that or it was, you ain't say nothing. Don't you open your mouth to let a word come out. It was always one or the other, but to find that balance where it's like, no, here's an environment where as long as you do it respectfully, you are free to express yourself.
Right.
And that's something, and I think as parents, again, going back to, well, that's how it was in my mama's house and in her mama's house and in her mama's house, right? And what we did not realize was, why was it like that in her mama's house? Mm-hmm. It was like that in her mama's house because her mama's mama was teaching you to be obedient to massa so you didn't get beat.
Systematic.
That's why it was like that in mama's house.
Yep.
But what we need to be teaching our children now is how to properly express themselves, not over the top with disrespect, but not quiet and silent and having to keep everything to themselves, but feeling like they have the freedom to express their thoughts, their views, their emotions in a safe, respectful way. And we as parents have to teach our children how to do that. Right? But in order for us to teach our children how to do that, we have to accept that some of the things that mama and mama's mama did are not necessarily the things we should continue to do as parents.
And that's a great point because that's why my brother teaches his kids what he teaches his kids, because he feels he wants to do the opposite of what my mom did with him because he felt like it gave him no voice. Like he felt like the way he was raised gave him no voice. So because of that, and me and him didn't have a voice. So because of that, he's like, I never want my kids to ever feel the way I felt. So, that's another piece of it. Like you just said, that's a perfect component. Sometimes you want to say, well, I appreciate the way I was raised, but there were some things I didn't get or I felt like could have been a little differently. So let me tweak that in raising my children,
And I think that's perfectly healthy. That's perfectly healthy.
And
Alina, jump up in here, girl. I saw you.
I definitely agree. Like my mom was the same way, that she saw the faults in how she was parented, and then she used that to become a better parent and helped me not feel the way she felt in her household. So she joined me in Girl Scouts at a young age in 2nd grade because she knew, as a young woman in a Caribbean household, she was told she couldn't do the same things as her brother because she was just a girl. And so I saw the faults in that, and I'm really appreciative of that. And she's helped me become a young, proud, Caribbean woman with the values that I am a strong woman, and I have a place at every table because there is no holdback because I'm a girl. And so like she saw the faults of parenting that she's experienced and used that to become a better parent, and but also had an open communication. That's why I'm very grateful for both my parents, that it's a conversation between us. And it's not, well, I'm right and you're wrong. It's usually a discussion of what can we do to understand each other's perspective. So I'm very grateful for that.
Girl, did you say
Alina for president, doggone it.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, Alina says something that has been so foreign historically in a lot of Black households, and that was discussion.
Mm.
Wait, we the parents and you the child are going to discuss this? That's not, but it's so healthy, especially that's why I was talking about earlier. The way you parent an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old needs to be completely different from the way you parent a 16 or a 17-year-old. It's not the same, right? If I want my child to be able to create, if I want her to embrace the way she thinks, if I want her to feel like she has presence and that she has value in her opinions, where is that going to come from if I'm not starting that in the home? Right? If I'm not in the home helping her to see that her opinions have value, why do I believe that outside of my home, she's going to believe that her opinions have value? So I've got to get to, yeah, go ahead, Kendra.
And that's so, and that's an amazing point. And I am so glad Alina brought that up, because when you say they taught me that I was no different, basically, then I could do exactly what a male could do. That is a big thing now, man. And I say that because there was a piece that wasn't in my bio. I'm active duty military, so I've been in I've been in 16 years, and so saying that like I'm right there to retirement. But one of the biggest things that we deal with as a Black female with some ranking behind her and some knowledge and power, who's not afraid to stand on her own, that's one of the biggest things we deal with. Is you don't get to sit at the table with the men. Like, this ain't a women's game. Pretty much we still get that to this day and age. So it's good that her family or her parents raised her in that manner. That's a good quality and a good thing to have, because then like when you go up against these males who are used to this being a male field and a woman doesn't have a say so and you can't be my boss, you know what I mean? It becomes a problem. And so kids need to have that too, because not every kid, grows up and decides to go to college. Some decide to serve. And when they decide to serve, or anywhere they go, they need to know that they can sit at the same table with whoever. I'm sitting at the table, nobody gonna tell me get up, And that's big. And that's big.
That's really good, because it's something that historically, because our parents and parents had no right to the table, they never knew to raise us to expect to have a seat at that table.
That's right.
Because it wasn't in the realm of their possibility. They actually thought they were protecting us by telling us not to dream so big.
Right.
Because they have no historical context of us being able to dream big and accomplish it. And they, probably have some broken dream stories of their own.
Exactly.
That was shattered by other people. And they said, I want to save my child from the heartache because the reality of the world is so hard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this down now and not tell you that you have every right to strive for and demand your seat at the table. But like you said, Kendra, and like we see with Alina, we got a different kind of young person coming up now.
Yeah.
It's like forced cultural evolution. Whether y'all were ready for it or not, we coming.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So two things. One is when President Obama was running, I was like, I'm voting and I'm going to the inauguration, right? And there was a black woman said she was younger than me, and she said, I'm not voting for him. I said, okay, well, why not? And she said, because he's never going to win. They're never going to let him win. And I was just like, what? And then the day I call International International Breath of Fresh Air Day, otherwise known as January 20th, the inauguration. You know, everybody was like, the birds were singing and everything was bright and sunny. It was a beautiful day, right? And so after the inauguration and all the swearing in, and Madam Vice President Kamala Harris goes into the Senate and takes her rightful seat, and Chuck Schumer says, Madam President, such and such and such. And Madam President, because she's the president of the Senate, and she's just sitting back with her legs. I said, doggone it. I said, no, I need to see that every day. And to see this, I don't even know, what is it, like 90 men, 80, 85 men in there, and they have to present to her like that. To have our kids be able to see that, to have young girls of all races be able to see that. Do you know that is a game changer?
Yes.
Part of the issue is we have not seen ourselves. So if we don't see ourselves, we can't think it's possible at all. And we tend to just take whatever is given to us. But we don't have to, and we don't have to feed that same nothing to our kids. And I am one. Well, before that, Kendra, you weren't on there. I said I have food biases, and so forgive me, y'all, for the people. But I don't like chitlins because I don't even know what a chitlin is. Well, at the time, I didn't know what a chitlin is, but it didn't sound like it was appetizing. So it was nothing I really wanted to eat. And then when I found out what it was, I really didn't want to eat it. But we don't have to eat it. We don't have to eat it. We don't have to feed it to our kids. People eat it because they want to. I don't know why, but that's a whole other thing. But we don't have to feed it to them because we can eat other things. I'm just saying. So we don't have to feed that same stuff that was force fed to us. We don't have to eat it because guess what? We can walk into to whatever grocery store and it's all there.
Alina's face was like, what's a chitlin?
So, You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Google it. And then go, go ahead and Google it, and you'll be like, people eat this to this day, dog.
And they do, and they do.
Yeah, Kendra, you down in the South right now, right?
Hey, religiously, my family cook it on every major holiday.
Yeah. Alina, when you look it up, you'll have a much better appreciation of what we're gonna be like. Wait, Kendra said they eat this regularly?
Yes, they do. I mean, look, they do. They do. I'm not finna mess with something that I gotta say, did you clean it right? No.
Woo! What an awesome discussion. This has been absolutely incredible. I think that we have touched on so much tonight. I'm so full. This is great. And what I want to do before we leave, because I looked at the time and we are wrapping up our hour together, I want to take a moment for each one of our amazing panelists to talk to you about the organizations that they're a part of. One of the initiatives of the Centers for Black Excellence is to support the work and the workers in our community. We are passionate about supporting our nonprofit organizations that are doing a work in our community. We're passionate about supporting our entrepreneurs that are building something in our community. And so as we get ready to bring this to a close, I want to take a moment for each one of our panelists to talk to you a little bit about the organization that they're a part of and what you can do to either be a part of what they're doing or to help support what they're doing. And we're going to start with Dr. Lisa. If you could tell us a little bit about your organization, what you're doing, and how the people can help support you.
Okay, so I am the CEO and lead consultant of DH Elevation Consulting. We're located in Atlanta, Georgia. And as a human development and leadership professional, I am a life coach. And I coach primarily 17 to 30-year-olds. And basically what I do is I walk alongside them, guiding them with intentional thinking and intentional actions so they can walk more confidently into adulthood, just giving them those tools so that when they get into adulthood, adulthood, it's, it's a lot easier, and a lot more purposeful instead of just kind of walking blindly into it. I've been doing this I've had my own business for the past 9 years. I coach virtually. I have 3 coaching programs, one for high school students, one for college students, and then one for 17 to 30-year-olds who don't fit either of those categories. And it's just really amazing to see the excellence in our young people, and those lights come on like, wait a minute, I don't have to do this. I can actually choose. Yeah, you can actually choose. One of my newest projects that I've given birth to, and is going to be coming out tomorrow, is I am an author, and my book, her 12th year, she's not so little anymore. It's a parenting coaching guide for tweens ages 11 to 14. And it is a journal. It's a series of conversations that goes through a year that I took my daughter through when she was 12. And we talk about everything from spirituality to finances to integrity to sexuality we talk about it all. And one of the reasons why I took her through this process, and why I put this out to everyone, is because, again, we don't often talk to our kids. Sometimes we don't know what to say, and sometimes we're busy working so that they can have more, that we don't even make that time. And we think that, oh, they get it, we talk, but they really need our time and attention. And so I share a principle on, let's just say integrity. I give it the definition, I give a quote, and then I have what I call the Kamaria story. And my daughter's name is Kamaria, and I give real life stories based on situations that happened to her. And then it's a journal, so you can write some notes, you can put things in your own words, and just have these conversations. And it's not just for moms, dads, aunties, uncles, mentors, everybody. So tomorrow night, 6:30 at DH Elevation on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. So it's coming out tomorrow, and I'm excited.
That is very, very exciting. I want to let you know that from the Centers for Black Excellence, we will definitely be pouring into that project. We think it's incredible. So I'm telling you in advance, our organization will be ordering a number of copies from you so that we can have those to distribute them to other individuals, because we already believe that that's going to be an amazing tool that will do a lot of great work. And again, part of our organization is to support the work of other nonprofits and other entrepreneurs. So we're all about that. And with that being said, let's move on to Miss Alina, who has been blowing our minds all night. Come on and talk to us a little bit about your organization.
Of course. So Rays of Hope is an organization that focuses on helping raise youth to raise communities. And we're located in central New Jersey, but we serve throughout all of New Jersey. So we're a community service organization, but we also focus on helping build young leaders and help them, become a better leader through leadership development and other opportunities such as that. So we're an organization that really focuses on community service, but also improving the leadership of our youth. So you can find us at Rays of Hope Youth on Instagram. We have an amazing Instagram where we post cards of different informational topics that are different, and we focus on community leaders, and we have an amazing a person who is who is organizing our social media to help others become informed about the community and how to become a community leader. But you can also help and donate to us at raysofhopeinc.org, our website, and you can see the work that we've accomplished, such as what we talked about earlier, the lunch shaming bill that was passed, that we helped contribute to, and other different projects that we're working on currently. It is hard to serve in a pandemic, but we are trying our best, and we are helping our youth become better leaders, but also remain active in our community. As tough as it is, we are very active still in finding different ways to make sure that our community is being served.
And you guys are continuing to do an awesome job. I've had an opportunity to see firsthand some of the work that Rays of Hope is doing. It is an absolutely incredible organization. Very, very happy to have a representative from the organization with us tonight. And also, last but certainly not least, let's hear from our third panelist, Ms. Kendra, and talk to us a little bit about Colorful Dreams.
All right, so Colorful Dreams, we're a 501c3 located in New Orleans, Louisiana. We deal with all of Louisiana. We'll go anywhere somebody needs a youth center. We'll take it to them. We'll bring it to them. But what we deal with is we basically, like I said, at risk youth. We deal with them, and when I say at risk youth, most of New Orleans is at risk because of the simple fact of how our community is taken care of or handled. Let's say that. So we make sure, again, like I said, they have a safe place to go when they need someone to call. I've done some things like build an app. We have an app so they can go to the app and they can jump in with a therapist, play some games while they're in there, those type of things. So we're still tweaking that a little bit, but that's one of the things we have coming out. So that way, anybody, anywhere, any kids that need someone can jump in and reach somebody. We also do programs. So like earlier I mentioned the programs that we don't, as Blacks, don't get to experience: theater, music, fine arts, how basically teaching them how to be princesses and how to take care of hygiene and different things of that nature. We have been working on bringing those programs. We have a couple of them up and running. We're working on a few more, but we just want to bring everything that they don't give Black people. We want to bring it to the community as much as we can, and we want to make sure that we live and experience everything that they give to white people, So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is, growing up here. I'm from New Orleans, so growing up here, I didn't get to experience much. We didn't have anything. I didn't get to experience life or the world until I joined the military. And so I want to make sure that no other kids that come out of here have to experience that, have to go through that culture shock.
Wow, that is so good. And now, is there a way that we can support, a website, anything like that?
Yeah, you could reach us at Colorful Dreams NP, as in nonprofit.org.
ColorfulDreamsNP.org.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
thank you once again to all of our panelists. At the Centers for Black Excellence, we are a membership-based organization. We do use the membership fees that we collect in order to support other nonprofit organizations. We support entrepreneurs, and we have a few initiatives that we are moving on our own in order to uplift, empower, and elevate the Black community. This is what we're all about. One of the big things that we're about is strategic partnerships, and I can't help but realize that DH Elevation has programs that deal with youth in the age ranges, just as Colorful Dreams and Rays of Hope are coming out of those age ranges. I'm talking collaboration, y'all. I see it, right? Because I was looking at the age ranges of what Rays of Hope is working with and what Colorful Dreams is working with their youth. And imagine when we come together, one of the things that we have to do better, and this is why we talk in the Centers for Black Excellence a lot about Black unity. There's a lot of amazing ideas in our community. There's a lot of amazing activity in our community, but everybody's the captain of their own ship. And we need to learn how to bring those things together, because when you put Colorful Dreams and Rays of Hope together with DH Elevation, you just took a young person from 6 to 30.
Right.
We can keep that influence, keep that presence as we continue to grow. So I just want to kind of put that out there, see if we can get a little bit of collaboration going on, because there's so much excellence in this room that can work together to continue to influence the young people that we're working with. So I think that that's awesome. I want to thank you guys once again for coming and being a part of this panel discussion. And as Dr., if you can look over at Dr. Lisa, you'll notice me and Dr. Lisa got on the same shirt today. This is the official shirt for the Centers for Black Excellence, and it does say Black unity in the Black community. This is one of the things that we're very passionate and all about. As panelists today, we would love to send you guys one of these shirts so that you can have one for yourself. If you would do me a favor and reach back out to us and let us know what size shirt you'd like us to send you and what address you'd like us to send it to. As panelists, we want to get that shirt out there to you. And for those of you who are watching, and if you're like, woo, I need me a Black Unity shirt, then please head over to our website, the Centers for Black Excellence.org. That is the Centers for Black Excellence.org. And you'll be able to order your shirt on there. We are having a general membership meeting tomorrow. All are welcome to join us on Zoom. You can reach out on our Facebook page to get more information about that. so you can find out really the details about the initiatives that we have in place, what we're doing as an organization, and how you can become a member to help us support other organizations, entrepreneurs, and our entire community. We appreciate you so much for tuning in. We do have more panel discussions coming up. So if you haven't liked our Facebook page yet, please go do that. And also find and like the Facebook pages of all of our organizations that were involved tonight, because we all need to come together, because together there's nothing that we can't accomplish. Thank you so much, every last one of you. Thank you to all of our panelists. We want to wish you all a wonderful night. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go, Lena!